Hello, everybody. Welcome to the July 2019 question and answers session. Let's just get right into our very first patron question. This comes in from Michael. He says, "Hello, allies. I was looking around the internet searching for Sony's next press conference and found on express.co.uk that they're going to have a 2-hour PS4 press conference on the 1st August in China Joy Exhibition in Shanghai. Are you going to live react to this? Love and respect."
So I think that this might be the second time they've done this, actually, and it is most likely not worth live reacting to. It's kind of last one was not even live translated, and showed off a bunch of games that I don't think have been released yet, or we're definitely for the Chinese market. I'm willing to be talked out of it, but yeah, I think that 2-hour press conference is not going to be very relevant or exciting for us to live stream to.
Yeah, if it's not in English, we can't do anything about it.
Or can we?
Like Dragon Quest, we would watch in Japanese. You know what I mean? But like a bunch of games that we're not familiar with, it's tough.
Yeah, Chinese market is a weird nut to understand. Like what I just saw something like some game called like QQ Racer or something has like done billions in profits and has an esports league, and it's like a mobile racing game. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on there.
Sweet.
Crossfire, like that's starting to come to the West, but it's been huge forever and none of us had heard of it, and it was like the biggest FPS in the world. I'm like, had no idea.
You'll get caught up in the crossfire.
I do get the hunger, though. It's been a while since we've had a Sony press conference.
Yeah.
Right.
PAX, baby.
But yeah, I think the main takeaway. Yeah, the main takeaway is if they're doing a press conference for China, it probably has nothing to do with the rest of us.
Are they doing a press conference for Gamescom? Actually, I don't know.
Probably not.
I haven't seen anything about Sony, if they are. I saw Xbox's plans, but not Sony's.
Yeah, Xbox is doing like an inside Xbox thing again.
Yeah, and they detailed the stuff that they're doing actually in the city. So
cool.
In the city.
Our next question comes in from Alexander, who says, "Hello, allies. In one of the earliest interviews about Death Stranding, Kojima said that he needs to know the engine's limits to write the game's script. I recently remembered that quote when I was thinking why old games never impressed me when I tried their remastered versions. Indeed, you can update graphics, control, UI, maybe add some quality of life stuff, but things like world design, gameplay, and story still remain a product of its age. For example, linear corridors of Mass Effect 2 give you a sense of a big galaxy a decade ago, but after so many world RPGs of this generation, it's much harder to believe that something exists in directions you can't go. I came to the conclusion that remasters and remakes aren't the best use of creators' intent. Sure, it's easier to sell a known IP, but video games as an art form would win if instead remasters and remakes developers just took inspiration from old titles and made brand new games without any shackles of the old. What do you think?"
So he's saying he doesn't want people to do remasters and just work on other games?
He's saying that, why not spend that energy to make something new that best utilizes new technology?
It seems like a lot of remasters are done by smaller teams, too. Like, help them get their foot in the door, like Blue Point was doing a lot of that. Hopefully they'll go on to do something else. I like remasters. I think it's really cool to be able to go back. But it is a problem if we don't get anything new. But I feel like we get enough new where it doesn't feel like one's hindering the other to me.
I also don't know that I agree with the idea that, because they're old, they can't be immersive or compelling. I feel like a lot of times I'll play remasters and I'll enjoy them more than more current things, depending on my mood. Because, whether you're old or new, that doesn't necessarily impact good writing, right? That doesn't necessarily impact good world building. And so, I don't know. I feel like we've all played games that have technically looked good, but felt really lifeless and boring. And so I just think that there's a lot more that goes into it beyond a game engine.
Yeah, totally.
However, with that said, actually, this was a topic that I was thinking about discussing on Frame Trap. I do think we're like at an oversaturation point, like across media when it comes to nostalgia, where like it seems like everything is coming out. It's like weird to go to the YouTube trending page and be like, oh, like these are all updates. All these movie trailers are updates on old ideas. And like, I'm not against that. And I really enjoy that. But it does seem like it's just happening incessantly to the point where like, I kind of get that argument that maybe like we're revisiting the well too often.
Yeah.
I think just the approach, I don't know when this started, but I think the approach to media has changed a lot to where everyone is looking for franchises, right? Like, you go back and you see all these things that are being revisited because now when you make something, you make a whole franchise and it doesn't just end with the one thing. Whereas, back in the 70s and 80s, like people just, they made Star Wars and they moved on, and it was like 20 years before they actually went and revisited it and made it into a whole larger thing. And and of course there were extended universe things, but in terms of films, like a lot of things were like that. And so now people are like, well, why didn't we franchise this? Let's make money on this thing that people are excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something I was talking about after watching Lion King last night, where it's like, which I actually enjoyed, maybe because my expectations were so low, but like, I don't know, I had fun. But like all of these remakes and remasters and stuff, it's kind of weird because I realized that they aren't for the uninitiated viewer or player. Like they're using a language where they assume that you are familiar with the original thing, and it's like part of what they're doing. So like Lion King has a lot of weird like meta narrative stuff on it that wouldn't make any sense if you haven't seen the original Lion King. And I think games are like that too in a lot of ways, where it's like, hey, we changed this thing, and we know that you know that because you are super familiar with the old version. And it's like a weird... It made me look at the whole exercise in a different way, where it really is just like capitalizing on people's love of the old thing, not trying to introduce it to new people like pretty much at all, which is kind of interesting.
Just from our perspective, from like a game coverage perspective, I just noticed for us where we can't cover every game or even close to that, when we are talking about games, I do notice just kind of this natural tendency when it's like an indie game, for example, if it's like, oh, this is like Ninja Gaiden, or this is like Metroid or whatever, or Castlevania, like we're more immediately interested than some game that we can't connect to something as easily. And it's not because like we wouldn't like that thing. It's just easier for us to process and easier for us to be like, oh, I think that will probably be worthwhile. And so like, I think that's just kind of working on a massive scale where it's like, there's so much now. There's so many things that you kind of need to have that, I think, in your back pocket, where it's like, if I can connect it to this thing that a bunch of people already love, it'll help me stand out in this super crowded pack.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the original quote, though, because I've been thinking of this a lot, where it was just about how Kojima said, I have to figure out what the engine is capable of before I write my script. I don't think this is saying like, hey, old games have worse scripts because the engines were worse. To me, I would compare it to like a movie's budget, like what your location budget is or your special effects budget. It is going to affect your script. Generally, yeah, I absolutely agree. Game writing is getting better, but I think that's what he meant when he was saying things like that. I don't think he was saying like, oh, I'm going to need to write a worse script if the engine isn't good. You know what I mean? Like it's not better or worse writing in that sense.
Right.
Go
Just
ahead.
like how crazy can he go? Yeah.
Well, I think the good parallel to that would be what we've seen with BioWare, right? With Mass Effect, Andromeda, and Anthem, to where they've been severely hampered by being forced into an engine that wasn't made for the kinds of games that they make. And so I think that's what Kojima was getting at.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to bring up, Kyle. But I also feel like even with the latest technology, like whatever your grandest ideas are, I think it just because when you hear game developers talk, this happens all the time. Or like, well, we had this idea and we had to cut it out, or this is what we originally wanted to do with the game, we had to cut it out. And you play the game, and for the time that it comes out, like it is cutting edge in a lot of ways. But like, I also feel like no matter what technology you're working with, like you are going to be limited in some way, or going to have to alter your original vision.
I appreciate that kind of discipline, though, like on the part of Kojima, where like if he was considering what was possible when writing the script, I think that's a really interesting exercise and like a fun way for him to have been working on it. You know, I like that. Yeah,
this just like reaffirms the notion that Death Stranding is going to be the wildest shit we've ever played.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that spoiler mode starting and just like us being like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, and two, like a lot of, what something's identity is born from limitations. And
right.
Chat was bringing up Seiken Densetsu 3, which made me think about Secret of Mana.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was originally supposed to be a Super Nintendo CD game, and a huge amount of that game got chopped up, and so it's like, what would that game have been? Like, I don't even know. Would it have been a better game if we had seen the original vision, or was condensing it actually make it more memorable?
Right. It's something better because of the limitation. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, that said though, like the other take on what Kojima meant was like, when things, I think, in video games especially go bad is when they're just trying to be cutting edge and like make everything look super awesome, because then that doesn't always age very well. Like I've said this a million times, but like I always appreciate an artistic choice over cutting edge because it'll just last longer. And yeah. So I hope he didn't mean that. I doubt it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because like you get these big studios like trying to make these games that don't really like captivate people or feel very shallow. And then you have something like Divinity Original Sin 2, which is like this crowdfunded game that like looks really good, but it looks really good because it went after a very specific style and offers just like a crazy amount of dialogue and freedom and choice. And they did it all, with the resources that they had. And so I also just think it comes down to like the people that you're working with and what their goal is.
Yeah.
Next question comes in from Ulf. He says, hello, allies. Have you ever collected anything that wasn't video game related? And if so, what was your favorite piece in said collection? I used to collect NHL trading cards featuring Wayne Gretzky, my favorite one being the one where he poked the puck under the goalie's glove into the goal.
Nice.
I used to collect like Marvel superhero cards when I was really young. And
Nice.
you collect there was 9 cards per set, and you put them all together and make one giant like picture, almost like a poster. I have a bunch of those still somewhere in my house.
What's your favorite one, dude?
I think it was just one that just had like X-Men on it, like the de facto X-Men team, like Wolverine and stuff on there.
Checks out.
Yeah, how can you not like Wolverine? Come on.
Yeah.
I was totally into trying to get as many He-Man toys as I could when I was a kid.
Nice.
And I had a lot of them. It's funny, though, because in a way that I'm not 100% in the mindset of a collector to where, like, like when I buy an amiibo, like I don't keep that in a package. Like, no, I want to take it out and I want to look at it and I want to actually use the thing. And so, like, like again, talking about those He-Man toys, like a lot of them are in pretty terrible condition because like I would pop the arms off of them and like swap them onto other characters and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Bloodworth is Sid confirmed.
But yeah, still, it was, it was great to have a lot of those things. And now when I like look back at like how much of that I had, it's like, man, this is kind of crazy. Like, how did I manage to convince my parents to give me all these crazy things?
When I was young, like elementary school young, I collected Beanie Babies and was like part of that whole fever.
Whoa.
And there were other things, like I had a bunch of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures as well. And like I was really into skateboarding for a period of time. And so I had like tech decks and stuff, but none of that stuff was like very long lasting. And like, I guess the only thing that like I've seriously tried to collect that has like persisted or that lasted for any like meaningful amount of time is video games, unfortunately. So yeah, I can't, there's like, even on those things that I mentioned, there's nothing that I can come up with that like really stood out in that collection. I bought like an actual like Tony Hawk deck, like skateboard deck that I was like really into. But even that whole fad was like explicitly brought about by Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Right.
I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater so much that it like made me super into Tony Hawk and the X Games and all that stuff.
Nice. I collected Pogs.
Mm-hmm.
And
I did a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a kind of like a shiny Green Ranger one. That was like my favorite one from Power Rangers. Yeah, I never put that one down. Never.
Never gamble it.
Never
You collect-
gambled that one.
You collect Zelda stuff to this day. Oh, but that's video game.
That's video game related.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was gonna say Amiibo, and it's like, oh
yeah. I guess I kind of de facto collect board games and synths, but mostly I just get the things I like and want. My favorite, obviously, would be the Moog one, but I think I did realize that when I was a kid and I worked at the hospital in IT and had a bunch of money and no bills because I was like 15, and I mean like a bunch of money, like for a 15-year-old, like, but like we would drive over to the Maplewood Mall to Suncoast Video and pay $30 for an anime DVD. And
yeah,
I had so many anime DVDs. My God.
Ian, you really like spoke to me there, because when I had my first job working at a grocery store, I remember like going out. I wanted to have every Metallica album. And like just going out to Best Buy and spending a bunch of money on Metallica albums, and then like going to dinner with my parents and kind of getting the sense of like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not making any money? Like, why are you wasting this?
Yeah,
I didn't say that explicitly, but
when I realized how much money I'd spent on anime DVDs, like after high school, like I looked back, counted, it was like $1,200 or like $1,500 or some crazy thing. I was just like, oh my God, like I could have been
10
saving.
DVDs.
I could have been saving this.
Did you guys still have like the CD club things when you were in high school?
Yeah,
that
I
existed.
remember those.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the greatest thing, because it's like, oh, get 12 CDs for the price of one.
BMI.
no, what? I've
never heard of this.
Yeah, so I would get into those things, and so it became like a monthly subscription thing, right? So like you would get the initial pack where you'd like buy one CD and you could pick like a dozen more, and then every month they would basically send you like a card of like, this is the next CD that's coming. If you want it, then just, accept the charges, or you'll get it and then you'll get charged for it. If you don't want it, like you send a card back and say, I don't want that CD. And then, but the thing is if you decide to like, okay, I'm done with this, I'm going to cancel it, then they try to get you back in by giving you that 12 CD offer again. And so you could just keep milking that and get like piles of CDs. It was pretty great.
I accidentally subscribed to that like BMI or whatever, like 4 separate times.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh man.
There was a place called Mr. Movies where I think
we had a Mr. Movies also.
You could get like movies for like 49 cents on Tuesday. It was either 49 cents or 99 cents, or either it like started at 49 cents and jumped up to 99 cents. But like people went pretty wild for that, like just going and renting a handful of movies. That was cool. Our next question.
Also magic cards.
Yeah, I
Magic.
spent too much.
Yeah,
money
Star
on
Wars
cards.
action figures. So
Yeah.
many.
Magic cards feel video game related. They're not.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But kind of. KY79 says, "Hey allies, what series would you guys like to see either soft or hard rebooted? This doesn't just have to be video games." So I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not a Star Trek guy at all. But I really liked the 2009 Star Trek movie, like a lot. And I didn't like the other movies that followed that up. And it just kind of felt like a little bit of wasted potential to me. And so I'd like to see that come back.
Tarantino time, baby.
Picard, baby. Where the hell did that thing go? The new Picard show is going to be dang.
Parappa the Rapper, I would love to see rebooted.
Good answer.
Still holding out for Dark Cloud one day. So maybe that.
We were just looking at that Skies of Arcadia case last night. That'd be great.
Yep. Oh, Vagrant Story. That's what I want. Bring it back.
Golden Axe would be cool.
Hell yeah.
Wait. They did. Yes.
Okay. I was like, did I remember that? It was terrible, wasn't it?
They did Beast Rider. I didn't play Beast Rider, but like, why would you when everybody says it's like one of the worst things ever? But yeah, I don't know. Oh, just seeing Streets of Rage 4 come out.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, I think during the time that Beast Rider came out, something along the lines of Streets of Rage 4 wouldn't have been made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the downloadable market was still seen as like, these are just like cheap mobile game type experiences. And they were just starting to get fleshed out with indies and stuff. So I could actually see if Streets of Rage 4 does well, like we could get a side-scrolling Golden Axe for sure.
Battletoads, dude.
Yeah, that's
the
happening.
resurgence.
Dude, I forgot about Battletoads.
One that like immediately came to mind is Mass Effect. Like,
sure.
What?
What?
If you would have asked me like around the time of Mass Effect 2 that Mass Effect would have taken kind of the journey that it has, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, I believed that Mass Effect was like untouchable, and would have continued very successfully into the future. So I don't know. It's just disappointing.
Since Jones isn't here, SSX for Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You would absolutely say that immediately.
For Huber, Dino Crisis.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are we talking reboots or remasters?
Reboots
or soft reboot.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect
Hill.
actually had a soft reboot, so now it's got to do it again.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill like speaks to my soul, Ian.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know. I don't understand how what happened to Silent Hill happened to Silent Hill. Like, it's
Konami. Baby.
Konami, like Castlevania, same thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't understand Konami.
Right.
No one does. I don't even think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went from
Mega Man Legends reboot.
Best of everything.
Oh, there you go. That's happening though.
Yeah.
Star Wars. We gotta finish.
Except just cancel it.
Did someone say Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, it's a Sonic.
Oh wow, okay. He could use a reboot.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, none of those friends are canon. We're just starting over. We're making new friends.
Just
New
Sonic.
characters.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think I just more want Sonic Mania 2, and like that would be enough for me.
I don't even think they're working on it, Ben.
But how do you not though? How do you not work on something that was so beloved, especially in a tumultuous series like that?
I think I just saw that like that team isn't working together on a thing. You know, like I think that Sega likes to make their own Sonic games.
But like, we'll make Mania 2 now.
Maybe they're making Mania 2.
It'll just be bad.
Yeah.
Man.
Frustrating. I was thinking like how cool it would be to like get Big Bang Theory, right? To get a sitcom and like reboot it, have like the same 4 characters, but like they're all just miserable. There's not a laugh track and there's no jokes. And so like they just like say a sarcastic thing and have silence for 2 seconds and then like say another sarcastic thing.
It's just a drama.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I'd love to reboot Big Bang Theory.
For the Big Bang Theory reboot, I would kind of want it to be like the Eric Andre show.
Yeah.
Where they just sort of lose their mind. But it doesn't happen until like halfway through the season. Where it's just more Big Bang Theory until like episode 15.
Yeah.
Where it just like loses its mind.
Sure. You get little hints of it, right? Like just somebody's got like a potato sprout going out of their elbow. It's like, wait, that's not like a Big Bang Theory joke.
Yeah, character
But
hears
it's
some
just-
whisper.
Yeah.
KY actually asked as a follow-up, Kyle, would you want a reboot or a sequel to Mega Man Legends?
I think it's a good question. I think that a reboot is more likely to be more successful. I'd love to see that story continued, but I'm looking out for the franchise long-term, baby.
Santiago asks, hi allies, I've been a fan since the GameTrailers days. My friend, the classiest hobo, also a patron, introduced me to the site by recommending Pop Fiction, specifically the Animal Crossing episode. I started checking out the site regularly after that. My question is, how were each of the allies introduced to GameTrailers? I know Jones started it all, but what about the rest of you? Sorry if this question has been asked before, but it is something that I was wondering. Thank you for everything that you do. I can't like say for certain if this was the very first thing that I saw at GameTrailers, but the one that like immediately sticks out is the Final Fantasy retrospective. And like once I saw that, you know, I was in forever, and I watched pretty much not everything, but I watched a lot, I guess, on GameTrailers. After that, I was a pretty big fan of the site before coming on board.
I am very much the opposite. I found out about GameTrailers because I was looking for work.
Yeah.
I had heard about it at G4, but I had no idea what it was. I figured they just produced trailers for publishers. And then when I saw the ad to apply, I applied, and I sort of figured it out from there. I'm like, oh, okay. This is exactly what I've been doing for the past 5-10 years.
That shocked me too. Oh, sorry.
You can go.
I knew about GameTrailers before, but similar Bloodworth, when I was looking for jobs and saw GameTrailers was hiring, I didn't know they did anything beyond GameTrailers because my first exposure was just like around like E3, like 2005, like E3 2005, a bunch of like the game trailers, like for what was it, like Twilight Princess and some of the PlayStation 3 stuff. They were all in GameTrailers. So I just went there and was like, man, they have like every trailer ever. This is great. And just went through all that stuff and had no idea they did anything other than trailers.
Terrible company name. I was working at a horrible job, and then a producer there, a friend of theirs, which might have been Meg, posted on Facebook about E3 and them needing editors. And I was like, what's GameTrailers and what's E3? And then things got really weird at that job. And I just kind of like banked on getting the gig. And so I quit that job.
Nice.
And then I just went into GameTrailers, got the gig, and then basically just told Bobby I was going to keep coming in. And then I did.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd never heard of it or E3. Like, I've always loved video games, but I never like ingested video game media that wasn't in PSM magazine. So
that's funny because I heard about PSM or E3 from PSM, and like from that point on, like I wanted to go so bad.
Yeah. Hearing about people that don't know what E3 is just kind of blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I was just so ingrained in the film world from my youth until 2010, like 10 or 11 when I got at GameTrailers, that like I was very much more into the film.
Fun story sort of related to that, Ian. I actually won E3 when we needed editors. I actually got the drummer from my favorite band to edit at GameTrailers. He also edits video.
Which band?
Stavesaker.
Stavesaker. I'm gonna Google this person now.
Maybe this is just good. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
I was just saying, I used to watch the reviews. I used to watch the reviews for games that I would never play, and so I would like ingest like what that game is about. It's like 2008. Also loved retrospectives. Used to watch Pack Attack all the time.
Of course you did, dude.
Yeah, and so yeah, I actually watched a lot of game trailers before I even like moved back to LA. Before I moved to LA, I was watching game trailers.
Yeah, Ben, same boat as you. I think Final Fantasy is like the first thing I could really remember, but it might have been before that.
There were other things that really stood out too. Reviews, like Kyle mentioned, Pack Attack,
Screw Attack stuff I used to watch.
Screw Attack for sure. That was what I was going to bring up, and like the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah,
I was very into that. And Hey Ash, what you playing? I was very into that as well. Just random question. Maybe this just happens to me, but do you ever like have interactions with people and like
No.
you just assume that they know about this like random video game thing because like when we talk with each other, like we know what these acronyms mean, we know what this thing is, and so you just like are trying to talk about something and you're like, oh, of course you don't know what that thing is. Like that makes sense. Like you're probably not as invested in video games. That happens to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, that used to happen to me all the time when I was younger.
I'm usually kind of, when talking to people, I usually assume they don't know anything about any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's the way to usually go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have forgotten that. Next question comes in from Alex. He says, "Greetings, allies. Glad to see everyone is okay after the earthquakes this month. I've lived in the Midwest all my life, and in the few times I've been out to the West Coast, I've never experienced one. I'm curious on what it was like for the non-California native allies to experience an earthquake for the first time. Do any of you have any interesting stories regarding earthquakes?"
My first earthquake, I've experienced, many since I moved here, but my first one, I was in like with an ex-girlfriend in my room, and we had seen like a horror movie or something, and so we were talking about ghosts, and then all of a sudden, the entire building just went wham, and it scared the hell out of me. And I was just like, what the hell was that? And she was like, that was an earthquake. I was like, that was an earthquake? Like, it didn't feel like it was. There are different kinds. Like, there are some that roll like waves. That one was just like, and it felt like someone like kicked the building.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about ghosts, it was pretty crazy. The two most recent ones were just like really long, wavy ones. They were like the longest I've experienced. But once I was in my car waiting for a light to turn green so I could turn. And I don't know why my mind went there, but my car started going like this. And I thought that teens were gathered around my car and like harassing me by wiggling my car. My mind just I was like, these damn teens. And then I looked around and I was like, oh, this is an earthquake, you idiot. Yeah. But yeah, earthquakes ain't got shit on tornadoes, man. Tornadoes, like, more immediately terrifying. Like, oh boy. If you're not by the epicenter, like, if you're in the epicenter of an earthquake, it's probably awful. But, like, yeah, tornadoes are terrorizing.
In like pinball video games where you can like tilt the table and it just like shakes. That's what my first earthquake felt like. It kind of just felt like a very quick like shift. And it was so minor that it was like, was that even an earthquake? And that's happened a few times where it was like, was that an earthquake? Like it must have been. What else could explain it? So yeah, not especially exciting. The one that we had on Frame Trap though, that one was long.
Yeah.
And I knew it was irrational, but I just thought to myself, like, what is the earth going to split open? Like, are we going to get swallowed?
Y'all should have probably gotten under that desk, to be honest.
Those lights hanging.
It didn't seem like I looked up at this stuff and it didn't seem like it was violent enough to knock anything off.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd be okay. But it is really funny. Like, for every earthquake I've experienced 2 earthquakes where someone went, "Did you feel the earthquake?" And I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Dude, I grew up in California. That's all it usually is.
Yeah.
Did you feel that? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was nothing. Now though, like anytime I get dizzy, which lately is a lot, I need to go to the doctor. But like, I'm just like, oh, maybe it's an earthquake.
Yeah. First one was I remember experiencing was actually at GameTrailers in the office. It was almost like maybe 10 years ago. There was it was like a 6 point something, whatever. And we're in the office and actually was shaking and stuff. And I remember people saying, "Oh, we're having an earthquake and stuff." And I think some people were just like, what do we do and stuff? And then it's like, "Oh, you need to like get under your desk and stuff." And then it ended. It's like, "Oh, okay, not a big deal."
Our next question comes in from Simon. He says, "Hey, allies, with Don now having appeared on both Frame Trap and Friend Code as a panel member, does this not officially push the Easy Allies podcast into third place? What
Yes.
must Kyle do to convince Don to join the podcast for an episode and regain respect?"
I try. And then we have our segment, Why Don Isn't on the Podcast this week.
That's why he's not on it, by the
Yeah.
way.
It definitely took a lot of convincing to get Don on the podcast, to get him on Frame Trap, and like I think he's just worried that he's like not gonna have anything meaningful to say or whatever. But he was great. He was so good,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just don't know if he understands that.
Some people, I think it's hard for them to realize that they're universally beloved
Mhm.
and they can literally basically do no wrong. And Don is one of those.
He like is clearly doesn't want to be on this video game news podcast though, and like I'm never gonna push him to do that. Like it's just like a clear disinterest. Like like you do have to talk him into those other things, but like the episodes are very particular. It's like, oh, Don is super comfortable talking about this thing,
Right.
so like of course he's in for this.
Yeah.
Totally.
Next question comes in from Robert. Christine McConnell's Netflix. Keep mispronouncing it. Christine McConnell's Netflix show didn't get renewed, so she started a new series on YouTube. Having loved the Netflix series, I'm eagerly supporting her new show on Patreon. This reminded me of my support of Easy Allies. What creators were prevented from continuing their work, but you continue to follow them to their new endeavors?
What's her show called? What is Christine McConnell's show?
I don't know. It's not included in this question.
I was thinking one of us knew, so none of us know who Christine McConnell is.
I don't.
I'm
I think it's
Googling
her
it.
own show.
Is she a comic?
Curious
Oh,
Creations
I've
of
heard about
Christine
this.
McConnell.
AJ told me about this and it sounded awesome, but I never watched it and now it's not there anymore. But she does it's like a surreal cooking show with monsters.
Okay,
It looked really cool and I just forgot to look into it, but I've heard it's awesome.
she's doing it herself on YouTube now.
She seems really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, like all these pictures of her with like baked goods and like squid tentacles coming out of a refrigerator and stuff.
Yeah, that's fun.
Seems dope. Maybe her. I should check that out.
I generally abandon all creators once they lose their budget.
Yeah.
They're not legitimate anymore.
Yeah.
No longer professional.
No, I don't have a good example.
Same.
I feel like mine are just like the usual suspects. Like, of course, I'm gonna play Igarashi's new thing.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I'm curious.
Oh yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's right.
I mean,
Yeah,
like Hideo
like,
Kojima.
I think there are. Yeah, there's several examples that you can think of like that are pretty obvious.
I thought they meant like donating monthly or something too.
Sure.
It's weird because yeah, like there are definitely like directors I like that like I follow their films, and that's a common thing in like the film industry where it's like one company stops working with them, they go to a different thing, and it's just whatever. But like you're just following them.
Yeah.
Or like the funding changes all the time for that kind of stuff. So I don't think that really counts in the same way.
Right. Well, like bands move to all kinds of different labels, so they put one record out independently or whatever.
Or like Mythbusters when the show stopped, and then they all kind of started doing internet video stuff. Kind of that, I don't know. Sort of. I'm sure there's an example, but I can't think of it.
No, I think about like, it's kind of a bummer, right? So like a one-up show I used to love dearly, and this was the website oneup.com used to have this weekly video game show that's still like, still better than most other video game shows of today. Once One Up was purchased and like half shut down, well maybe 2/3 shut down. Those guys went on to do their own show under the name Area 5, and it was like simply worse, you know? And it's like sometimes when like somebody like goes on and does their own thing, it's like simply worse. I was thinking like, which just sucks, right? Like it's not a nice thing to say. And like I think they went on to go do like their own documentary stuff, but like their like weekly series just wasn't the same as the One Up show. And so yeah, it's kind of weird. I hope her show is just as good as it was on Netflix for sure. But yeah, it's something that, you know, I'm always scared of is like this just, oh, you know what, this is simply worse. And I'm glad that Easy Eyes has produced what we have so far, you know.
It's complexly worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a simple kind of worse.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to put a pin on it.
Yeah. You're like, is this worse?
Discarded Digit asks, what is your most wanted Super Mario Maker 2 DLC?
Oh boy. Ooh.
Yeah.
I only know this is DLC, but I want to be able to make a world actually, like a
Yeah.
section of levels.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want the most.
That is
They could DLC that. That'd be
Yeah.
really good. Overworld map.
really great.
Whoever was talking about that concept idea, that was a really good thing. They should do it.
I want a Mario 64 style levels, and I don't mean 3D because I don't want to like go nuts, but I just want to like be able to like punch and run forward, then jam backwards and do like a cool
You want his movement.
Yeah.
And I mean like the 3D world gives you like long jump even, which is already pretty sick. But yeah, I would love to, and triple jump. But yeah, I love that aesthetic. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I was gonna go nuts and say like 3D style.
I mean, yeah, that's the dream.
That's not DLC though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
That'd be
whole
a whole
game.
other game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's the Paper Mario
Aesthetic, yeah.
aesthetic that we've been demanding? That would be so good.
Oh man,
They could actually
Yeah.
do that.
That'd be really
that'd
yeah,
awesome.
like it's so obvious. Please.
oh man, yeah, that would be
Yes.
really cool.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Just like also I mean, I'd love it if they just add cool new gadgets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also put in the stuff that they did in the story mode so that you can do them in the damn editing mode, like rescuing toads,
Oh, the blocks.
the heavy blocks, climb
love those
X number
blocks.
of trees to win, like
Yeah.
That's really
all the stuff
surprising
that-
they do that.
because it's like the point of the story mode is to introduce you to things you could make in your levels, and then like 5 things you can't do. It's like what?
Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
I actually really do miss like the amiibo costumes and stuff. Just like being able to run around as Link and everything else. I don't know. I missed it, I think, more than I was expecting. And just seeing how people added elements to their levels with those costumes, I thought was really fun. And don't really understand why they're not there anymore. And so I don't know. I think that'd be a simple thing that they could bring back.
Is the frog suit in there?
No frog suit, dude.
Dude, no wonder there's no water levels. If you want people to make water levels, put that frog suit in there. What are you thinking?
I also want you to be able to dictate who the player character is on a level.
Oh, yep.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because I thought that's what I was doing when I made that Toadette level, but I was like, oh no, I just switched my character to Toadette, but that didn't translate. Whoopsies.
Yeah, because it'd be cool to like even go through places where you had a mechanic where you like swapped characters,
Yeah.
like tag team them.
Mm-hmm.
and the other character stays there, Wild Arm style, and you have to like solve puzzles or whatever. Swap back and forth, whatever.
Yeah.
Our next question comes in from Varun. He says, "Hi, allies. I was playing through the Final Fantasy X remake and was loving the story, characters, and amazing music, but one day I turned on the PlayStation and didn't select the game. Days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months. I just didn't play it. The reason I didn't play it was because of mechanics that I just had enough of, and no matter how good the story was, I just didn't want to play any more of it. And that was random encounters. Before my hiatus, I went exploring a little, or maybe a lot. I realized to get back to the main story point would mean going through all those random battles again. I know I can flee, but hate doing that, and that still takes time doing anyways, in which I'd rather be doing anything else. Have the allies ever played a game which they loved or thought a game that was just right for them, except for one little particular thing that ignored them to the extent of liking the game as a whole less, or something that even made them stop playing the game?"
This person just needs some podcasts.
It's a little weird that the remaster doesn't do what the other re-releases, like Final Fantasy 7 and 9, the disable random encounters, like such an easy thing. They had all these other features and they don't give you disable random encounters because there's parts in Final Fantasy where there's puzzles. You just, as they said, they want to go explore, and it's really, those are the parts I think it's the most annoying, is when you're just trying to like enjoy an area and walk through it. Like, how do I get to this chest? Oh, every 10 steps a random encounter. It's like, forget about that chest. I'm just gonna keep going. I don't want to keep fighting. It was nice to have that option when they released all those Final Fantasy games again. And
I bet 8 won't have turn off encounters.
Bet it does.
It will.
Okay.
I bet it does.
It will.
Because it's
Final
not called
Fantasy
Final
doesn't-
Fantasy 7 Remastered, dude. It's just a re-release of Final Fantasy 7, but 8 is called Remastered.
Watch it be some weird reason why on 10, 12 they couldn't do it. Or not 12. 12 doesn't have Random Coast. 10. Why did in 10-2 they didn't do it?
Yeah, I mean 12 they like couldn't, right? That would just kind of wreck the game.
Yeah. I meant 10-2. Like 10/10-2. Yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy doesn't really have any of those items that like keep the enemies from coming, huh?
And no repelling.
What, 10? I don't know about 10, but Final Fantasy games have
The
items like
previous
that.
ones, but 10 I don't think has the equivalent. Yeah.
So this is happening to me recently. I'm done with Mario Maker because my analog stick has drift. It's just drifting up uncontrollably. I don't know if that counts. You know what I mean? That's not a software problem. It's a hardware problem.
Right.
I'm not getting a new Joy-Con.
spending
Like, I'm
more
not
for
going
it.
to do it. I just won't. I'm hoping that the Switch that comes out this fall has improved Joy-Cons.
I
Otherwise,
know about that.
I'm so done. It's docked for life. So frustrated.
But you're
About
not.
this coming
You don't like using
Send
the
it
Pro
in.
controller?
Oh, so yeah, like I'll play levels, but I won't make levels. I won't do handhelds. So what I'm saying is the Switch is docked for life now.
But wait, when you're handheld, just use a stylus. I've never made a level with a controller.
The analog stick is still drifting up. So when I'm trying to use the stylus,
Yeah,
Mario is
yeah.
moving up. It's like,
Can't
what?
you, if you're in handheld mode, and this is probably annoyingly stupid to do, but can you pair a Pro controller and take off the Joy-Cons and unpair them?
You could.
I don't know, man. So I'm just holding it like this with the stylus? No, because I'd still need the buttons, dude. It would still be so annoying to create and play at the same time. You couldn't play that fast enough, I think.
Kyle,
Yeah.
I'm upset. You want to just borrow one of them? I have 4 Joy-Cons. You want to just
There's
borrow
that
one?
free one too that's cheaper. There's some cheaper ones out there that you could just slap in there.
Actually, yeah, maybe I should just get like the Hori ones. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's right. Because like they won't have drift, and then I can just use that.
And it has
Yeah.
a D-pad.
Okay,
Are
I
you
feel a little more
joining-
confident in that. I'll buy that.
Are you joining that class action lawsuit?
Wait, what's up?
Are you joining the class action lawsuit against Nintendo about Joy-Con drift?
Now I am.
Is that a
Yeah,
real
shit.
thing?
Hogue
Okay,
doesn't
I'm
think
in,
it-
dude.
I know talking about this.
Hogue thinks it's pretty weak.
Oh, all right. I'm out.
The beeps in the demo for Dragon Quest Builders did that
Ooh.
for me.
Yeah, you're out of the whole Dragon Quest series, and
I don't understand
the beeps.
the beep complaint. I just don't get it.
They're so annoying, dude.
Sounds
They're
like you just
so
need a
annoying.
podcast too. Just listen to a podcast.
I mean,
I don't know what it was about it. I don't know. Like I've played the other, like maybe that's just in Builders you just had to go in the menus too much. I don't know, but like, oh man,
yeah, because I guess the reason I say that, Ian, is like there are tons of games where like it makes noises when you move around the menus. Like Final Fantasy does that, and I know you've enjoyed Final Fantasy games, and you go into the menus in those games a lot.
No, it's just like those beeps are less abrasive. Like the Dragon Quest beep, at least in the builder's demo, because I wanted to like that game. Like it was just so abrasive to me. Yeah, I think so.
I wonder if that's it. If the beep combined with the speaker quality makes it.
Maybe. Or it might have been on my projector. I don't remember. But yeah, there's just some of it like it's just so abrasive.
Yeah, it's just one of those aesthetic things because it's always been there since the original game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. To each their own, for sure. Something that has like really turned me off of several games, like Rainbow Six Siege comes to mind, Overwatch comes to mind, Dota and League of Legends come to mind, Overwatch comes to mind. Is people, yeah, and like I can think of instances specifically like within Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch where like I joined a match and I just couldn't believe how shitty the people were being. Like, of course, like not everybody is going to be perfect all the time, but it was just like so unbearably shitty that like I was just like, I just don't want to deal with this. And I know there are options for that, but to deal with that, like muting people, and that helps. But like Rainbow Six Siege, like I just remember getting in a match and like the dude just immediately team killing me, and it's just like, okay, well I guess I'm out of the round now because this person just team killed me, and it's like that stuff just makes me not want to play your game. Like I've got a ton of other things to play. Like why would I deal with these people?
Hell is other people.
Wolfenstein New Colossus. I can't remember if this 100% correct, but there's enemies in the game that have radios, and if you get seen, they call in more units, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't kill them, I think they keep coming. I can't remember. It's been a while, but I remember there's something like along those lines that really annoyed me about the game. But otherwise, I like the game.
And the enemies in that game are really rough too, so I can see that totally. Yeah.
Brad, I quit that game too.
It's hard to stay alive in that game.
I get stuff like, classic Ludo narrative dissonance. I drop games like a hot rock, like left and right, so whatever. But yeah, like Uncharted 3, I was just like, all right, I'm done with this gameplay loop. Like, tired of it. Stuff like that.
Gameplay loop.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything?
Damiani never quits games. Damiani never quits games.
That's not true.
It's true. I've never seen him do it. He's beaten every game he started.
Yeah, but it's not because a quirk thing, though.
Well, then respect to Damiani.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, are you trolling?
Yeah, we're trying to make this bit work, but I think
I'm sorry.
I've
Yeah, it's just getting weird, dude.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Kyle. I loved it.
Fudge.
Next question comes in from Christian. He says, "What's good, gentle fellows of the Nine? This month I aim to delve deep into your conscious vaults of memories and take aim at life's peculiar moments of regrets that you'd rather wipe out of existence. What would you say is the most awkward 15 minutes you've experienced in your life prior to hitting your 21st birthday? And which memory would each ally travel to out of pure curiosity to witness? Tragedy, comedy, pointless anime filler arc. The tone of these tales is completely up to yourselves and whatever may provide the best manner in which to regale them."
So sorry, what's the question?
What?
Most awkward moment?
Yeah, there's a question and there's a lot of stuff after
What would you say is the most awkward 15 minutes you've experienced in your life prior to hitting your 21st birthday? And which memory would each ally travel to out of pure curiosity to witness?
I remember in 4th grade, I believe, we did a play of Jack and the Beanstalk. And I was the giant because I could do an awesome giant voice at the time. And I had a song. No, I could still do it. I had a song I remember, and I did the show like 3 times before, but for some reason I just like forgot the whole song. at this like one performance of it. And I just was like, totally on stage, just forgot all my lines, and I just fumbled my way through the whole thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I want to be in the audience.
Yeah, dude, I had like a pillow under my shirt to look all fat and stuff. It's rad.
I definitely forgot lyrics while singing before. That's rough.
Oh,
What's up?
What?
all right. Ian just cut out for me.
Oh.
I stopped talking.
I think rough was the last word Ian said.
Okay.
Like
Just
most
the way that
Bye.
sentence ended, I thought like you got cut off.
like most awkward 15 minutes before 21. It's like all of them. I don't.
Yeah, my entire life.
I used to do this thing in high school. I would, like, before I fell asleep, I would think about one awkward thing that I did badly that I would improve upon, and one thing that I did that was like good today. And that's how I improved myself as like a human being, as like a social human being that could interact with other human beings.
That sounds that sounds like an alien.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly,
stuff.
dude. Yeah. Just like, man, that was really bad. That didn't play. That did not work out. Oh, and that was good. That one worked. You know, it's just all right. Like the other ones are like AMA. I'm not even like going to delve into my truly most awkward moments. You don't get those.
Can I get those off camera?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there are definitely some embarrassing moments that spring to mind that I don't feel like sharing, so I won't.
Say it again, Ian. Your mic's quiet.
Oh, I was lucky. I'm lucky in that I think my memory for things that would shatter my confidence is short. I just don't dwell on it. So I'll have like a really bad day, and then the next day I won't remember it really.
Nice.
So that's lucky, I guess.
Yeah, Ian, man, I'm envious of that, because when I have that happen to me, I feel like it really sticks with me in a super unhealthy way. So
that's not to say some things,
sure,
some stuff sticks with you.
Sure.
But yeah. End of statement. Is that helpful? Is that helpful?
That was
Comment
good.
over.
Not Jack asked if you could pick one old game to be treated like a new release again. Wave of hype, everyone discussing it, etc. What would it be and why? So I've got one that like I want to take the good parts of, but kind of remove the bad parts of. Breath of the Wild, when that came out, that was really a magical time. Just being in Easy Allies, because like almost never do we get everybody like so excited about a game like that, and just like there was like a childlike wonder with it that I really miss and I wish could happen for a lot of things. But yeah, Breath of the Wild was amazing. What I will say about Breath of the Wild that was really discouraging is the way people would sometimes voice their disdain for Breath of the Wild. Like there were definitely some people that didn't like it as much within the community, and that was totally okay. But sometimes they just went about it in really aggressive ways where they like tried to make you feel bad for liking it. And that was really weird. I don't, that part of it kind of soured it a little bit. And so I wouldn't, I don't know. I think there are better ways to express that.
Yeah. Yeah, my pet peeve, and I think with Breath of the Wild and a lot of those kind of things, is when people just like write everybody's enjoyment of something off on nostalgia. And I'm like, Breath of the Wild is not anything like any other Zelda game. Like, I don't know what part of this nostalgia I'm supposed to be falling for right now. And I also feel like because I play a lot of old games all the time, like there's not that much that I'm actually nostalgic for anyways. Like to me, nostalgia is something like I haven't played this since I was 16. And so like now it's bringing back memories of being 16. And there's very few games that I would fit into that category.
You mean the old Legend of Belda argument? If it was called Belda, people wouldn't like it as much.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Kyle.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so frustrating, man.
When people would say like, you guys wouldn't like this game if it didn't have Zelda associated with it, and it's like,
Yeah.
What?
No, what?
That's so funny, especially of the Breath of the Wild, because like the story is almost inconsequential, and like the reasons it's good literally have nothing to do with any of that.
Right, and I think about just like your experience, Ian, because you weren't this like huge Zelda fan before you played it, and you loved it, and you were really into it. So I just don't think that argument tracks.
Doesn't hold water at all. Yeah.
But in terms of, I mean, anytime that we had like everyone all in on a game at GT, like Bloodborne or Super Mario Galaxy, when we're like, get to the store and get a dozen copies right now. Like, can you get me one? Those kind of moments were great.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodborne definitely came to mind, and like Dark Souls, like any of those games where it's like everyone's talking about this, you're like in the zeitgeist, and we're all like, oh, did you find this thing? Like blah blah blah. Like, yeah. I imagine Bloodstone like that if we were all playing it and working together in an office, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely think not being in an office makes that less common for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Sekiro was a little weird because it was very sensitive and people were playing it in different waves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of like conversations about Sekiro to get shut down.
Yeah.
And so it was like inhibited.
Yep. Me and Ben were playing it first.
Yeah.
Then like Huber and Damiani and Ian.
Yeah.
But you just watched someone play it, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
So you knew all the stuff already too.
Yeah.
Any other ones? Any game that you would like to be treated like a new release again?
I've been playing through Dishonored 2's DLC. And I think Dishonored 2 is really awesome and a great game. And I wish I don't know if it doesn't get as much recognition as it deserves. Like I could just be totally missing stuff, but I feel like it's a really great game, and I wish more people talked about it. Yeah,
Brad, you and I were talking about that like this very week in person. Like Dishonored 2 really feels like, to us at least, like it deserved more than it got. It was a weird,
it's a weird time,
thing, especially considering how popular Dishonored 1 was.
Yeah.
Another one, Brad, and maybe you'll agree with me on this. And it's kind of weird considering Classic is coming out soon, but like World of Warcraft was that. I just don't even know if that's really possible in the same way anymore.
No, for me, it was like at the perfect time of my life.
Yeah,
where everyone I knew was playing it, and I don't think that could happen again.
Yeah, I don't know if like it really felt like everyone in the world was playing World of Warcraft, and like. It was a phenomenon that lasted for years, where it felt that way, where like video games were kind of World of Warcraft, and I just don't know if like that's capable in the market anymore. I don't know. Maybe it is.
At least at like our age, maybe if you're younger, with all your friends and they're all playing too.
Yeah,
like a lot of my friends, like we're all adults now, and like a lot of them just don't even play games anymore. So not a lot that's possible.
Yeah, people are saying like Fortnite is the new WoW and Minecraft, and like they're right. It's just like not for me, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
So it's hard for me to make that comparison, but yeah, that's true. Those phenomenons exist. Mike Cook asks, "Good afternoon, allies. Will you please humor me in a quick game? I call it who's the worst and who is the best. We'll start with the easy one. Between the 9 allies, who is the worst at racing simulators and who is the best?"
Bloodworth's probably the best.
Bloodworth is
because he's the only one who actually plays them.
Right. I don't know who the worst is.
It might be me. I can never figure out how to turn. I just always spin out in every actual racing game.
Me too.
Like within seconds, within like the first turn, I'm like,
straight.
This sucks. This isn't what driving's like.
Okay, now who's the worst and who's the best at 2D platforming games?
Oh goodness.
Ooh, this is tough.
Oh.
I want to say Damiani's the best at 2D platformers, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he's got the record to back it up.
Show us the receipts, Damiani.
Like, what do you mean?
I think it might be Brad.
I don't know. Like,
who-
how do you tell who's best at a 2D platformer?
Who
Also,
can do
like,
it the fastest?
well, but
That's-
different 2D platformers are very different. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's true.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
We-
who's
we were-
playing Super Meat Boy? Who's that hardcore?
I
I beat.
had to beat that for some people at GameTrailers.
Oh,
I beat
But,
VVVVVVV.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's also like endless runner type platformers too, like Bit Trip.
Mm.
Those would get like annoying,
Mm.
but they're fun.
I don't know who the worst is though. I
Jones.
used to know who
I
the
think
worst.
we're all good in them.
Joe. I'm
Jones.
definitely bad at some
Those
of them.
Castlevanias.
yeah.
He's good at one.
That's pretty good.
Highly controversial. Highly controversial. It might be Don.
Mm.
Sure.
Don,
You
who like
should.
plays all these Neo Geo games.
I need to check the high scores though.
Yeah.
See how well he's doing.
I think we
Okay.
all have our specialty when it comes to 2D platformer.
I think it's too
Yeah.
broad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
too broad of a term.
Fair
And
enough.
just like the way that our job works, like if I'm playing a bunch of 2D platformers for one reason or another, like I'll get pretty good at them.
Yeah.
And then if I like am away from them for a long time, like I'll get rusty. And so it's hard. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
The next one is sports simulators. I'm happy to say I'm the worst at sports. simulators.
You have to fight me, Ben. I'm the worst.
Huber might be good.
I think
Yeah.
Huber's the only one who actually plays a sports sim
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
which is MLB The Show.
He reviewed Madden once too.
Yeah.
After that, we've got old school real-time PC strategy games. I'm going to say Huber is the best at that.
Probably the
Maybe
worst.
it's StarCraft. I think I could put up a good fight against him in Warcraft 3 or something like that.
Sure.
Nice. I'd love to see that actually.
Yeah, that'd be a fun stream.
I guess I can take worst for no interest on those.
Yeah, I'm pretty close.
I like
Pretty bad
StarCraft.
at them too. Yeah.
Put a lot of time into any.
FPS multiplayer deathmatch. I
Damiani worst.
Worst.
I think it would either be me, Brad, or Huber. I don't know. Maybe Huber. I don't know.
Maybe
So this one we can find out who the best is.
Depends
Yeah.
what game.
Yeah, I do.
Huber
Think
could wipe the floor with me in GoldenEye, no problem.
Huber could definitely wipe the floor with me in GoldenEye.
But I'm
Yeah, we're
very
not talking
confident
GoldenEye here.
against him in a lot of games.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm among the worst at those.
Yeah, I can't say if I'm the best at it, but I definitely am not the worst.
I mean, Damiani gets physically ill. It's just not a contest.
Yeah.
Sure.
True.
Yeah.
Rhythm games. I straight up
me.
think I'm the best at rhythm games.
Yeah.
This group.
Pretty bad.
We had a contest and Ben proved this to be true.
Yeah, Ben was the best.
Do you
at
remember DDR, dude? Yeah.
Like, I don't know if anybody in our
When
audience
did you do
remembers
that?
Chris Wynn from GameTrailers because he's
Oh yeah.
better than
Oh, yeah.
me at rhythm games.
Chris
but I
Wynn
think-
would destroy all of us.
yeah, I think among this group, I'm probably the best.
His name was literally DDR Freak.
Yeah,
Still is in a lot of places. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
When
we
we
were
played the Mario, DDR for a Easy Eyes tournament.
Yeah,
one-
I remember
one
that.
week.
At
was I
Jones's.
gone for that?
it was a really fun stream.
It was.
Do you remember like
I must have been gone. Then.
when we did the final song and then like we both walked outside and we were just like exhausted?
I collapsed on camera, dude. It was brutal.
Song is so good.
I was in Japan with Chris back at GameTrailers, and we went to a local arcade, and he went up and was playing DDR, and a local guy who like had the water bottle, the towel, everything, like clearly a DDR guy came up. They both did a 1-to-1, a one-on-one like versus on like one of the really hardest songs in the game, and Chris like wiped the floor with this guy, and he was like visibly shamed and left the arcade. We all felt so bad. We were like, "Oh no!" Like we ruined this guy's day.
It was so good.
Oh,
We took
man.
him to Anime Expo, his first one, and he said, "Hey, I just got to play one game at the arcade thing," and he drew a crowd. I was like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Yeah,
It's like,
dude,
damn.
he's amazing. Like he took me to round 1 in like City of Industry because they had the new DDR like a year or two ago, and like there were people who drove there from like Ohio to play this DDR machine, and like he was in there and he was like definitely competing. You know,
I'm definitely not as good or nearly as good at DDR as Chris, but that did happen to me where like I went into an arcade to play DDR and I did well enough that like people were watching me. I think it was Mall of America I was in.
hey,
And that happened. And so that was cool. Yeah, that like has. I was playing Guitar Hero in a Best Buy and a woman came up to me and I think she said like, "Hey, you're good," but that was like the only two moments.
I think she was hitting on you, dude.
She was 40, I think. I don't think she was.
Okay, that doesn't disprove a thing.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't disprove. I mean, I don't know. It was a long time ago. Can't speak for this woman.
I think Huber might be the worst at rhythm games.
Maybe.
You think so? I guess
Yeah.
I've never seen you play rhythm
I'm
games.
pretty bad.
Where
Oh,
can
Damian,
I find a woman?
Yeah, it's not even just like physical. It's just like even hitting like buttons.
That will never not be funny. That will never not be
Legendary.
funny. I think we need to get Huber to do more singing and rhythm games.
We
Yeah,
need
dude.
to.
Really,
We need
need to do that.
We have a stage. We have to do another battle.
Have
of the
him do,
Band.
Ian, what's going on with
Metallica.
Twitch karaoke? Is it like a thing?
I want to do it really badly. Jones and I have just had like life shit keep getting in the way.
got
and
it.
stuff, like,
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
fully intend to have like a Twitch karaoke stream with Jones.
Nice.
Where can I find a woman? Oh yeah, that shit was the best.
Which thing?
Oh, we do have a last part of this question. Lastly, who's the worst and who's the best at friendship? Great day.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyle
Might
for
be
both.
worst
recognize
at
that.
friendship.
I
Kyle?
recognize
Yeah.
that genre.
What makes you say you're the worst at friendship?
Like true introvert, like genuinely, like sometimes just interested in being by myself. You
Yeah,
know?
Kyle just doesn't
Same.
want to like hang out. So it's-
Yeah.
Same. I might say Brad for the best.
Yeah.
There've been a lot of times where like Brad will do something like that's just really considerate, just like a very small thing. I think Jones does this sometimes as well. And I'm just like, oh, like I wasn't expecting that, or I wouldn't have thought to do that, and just like little kind courtesies that happen.
Hey, thanks.
I'm cool with it.
That was a brutal game.
A brutal one.
Like, who's
Brutals?
the best? Who's the worst? Like that. That's
You know,
like,
Ian, I thought that when I first read the question, when I first saw it, but going through it, I felt like we were pretty diplomatic about it.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes just somebody is the best and worst at a thing. Like sometimes that's just a factual thing.
Yeah. I wonder if I don't know with like how much it matters to the audience, but like going through that conversation, it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We are who we are. Master Pants says, hi, if you could please pick a current gen game of any genre to demake into a PS1 style turn-based JRPG. I really like this. He has a comment underneath it that says multiple discs.
Hell yeah, it's gotta be multiple discs. I've always wanted like a turn-based Zelda RPG, so like Breath of the Wild.
I like that. I don't know if the question is saying though, like, what kind of PS1 style turn-based JRPG could you make, or like take a game that already exists? Because he says pick a current gen game and demake it.
I did
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Breath of the Wild. Okay,
I would play it.
Sorry,
Brad,
I thought
I'm
you were
playing
just
that
saying-
game. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm-
Spider-Man.
Dude, it's sick.
Would it
That'd
be
be
like
awesome.
the Spider-Man 1 PS1 game?
It's a turn-based RPG.
Okay. I'm really botching this question.
No, I love this
Yeah.
question. This is I want to play. I want to play everybody's answer. I love PS1
Yeah.
RPGs. Let's do this.
Any first person shooter, man. Like make Fortnite a JRPG. I'll play that. make Doom Eternal a
Oh my
JRPG.
God.
There you go. PS1 style JRPG.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
There you go. That would be pretty awesome.
Kyle, I don't know if you're going to want to play my answer.
Uh-oh.
The Witcher 3.
Dude, I would play
You
the
beat
hell
me.
out of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be.
That'd
Yeah.
be so rad. Make that.
You have one character though, the whole game.
Who
Maybe some
cares?
people who like show up as a partner character. For
You don't
a couple
have- you don't
missions, but
And particularly too, because like the combat is the most divisive part of that. So
Yeah.
if the rest of it's kind of left intact, then
Can I skip the Lubberkin quest?
Yeah, it's a side quest. Oh no,
Okay.
no, it's not.
no, it's
That's
the main
story.
quest. That's the main
Yeah,
quest.
you gotta do that. Bloody Baron, dude. You gotta do it.
I
Do you
think
just not like that word, or
I think he just doesn't like the Lubberkin.
I don't like the Lubberkin, man.
okay?
I mean, it's like a weird
It's not that
demon baby.
long. Like it's
So-
very, yeah.
Impactful, dude. So what was it? It was a baby he didn't love that they buried, but like I rested the baby's soul, and then the Lubberkin was willing to dissipate.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's too much. It's too much for me.
Much for Kyle. He's out.
it's like too dark for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, very few things are too dark.
Too personal.
No, like too goofy. Like
Kyle,
even in the fantasy realm, it's like this. You know what? It's a bit much.
I want that
I
quote
don't think they
like,
made
by,
that up.
by a headshot of yours. Like, very few things are too dark. for me.
Very few. It's just like I have like
Yeah,
black makeup on. Just like very few things are too dark for me.
exactly. I think Bloodborne would be really cool. Just seeing
Absolutely.
that kind of like gothic horror in like PS1 clunky sprites, I think would
Yes.
be sick.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm picturing
And
all
like
of
you
these
can
turned
see how
into,
the
like,
trick
Suikoden.
weapons. What's up?
I'm picturing all of these turned into like Suikoden.
Yeah, I guess it would be a good current gen
Yeah.
game where you could just like recruit a bunch of people in like a bunch of cool different ways, and have like your own base.
But yeah, like
Metal
Bloodborne
Gear
or
Survive.
Resident Evil 7 or Evil Within or like those would be super cool.
Fun question. Next question comes in from Jesse. Hello, allies. Now that Easter is over and you're getting back into the normal routine, although less normal because of the new Troop Jones family member, the next big project to look forward to is Easy Livin. I've been watching your 2017 and 2018 Easy Livin stream because though I wasn't a patron at the time, I wanted to go back and see the first and second prior to this new one in July. I love watching the interactions and the cozy vibes from the Bloodborne co-op to the blanket sharing to the bits about how Yakuza 0 is like a Souls game. Scolding, I don't even remember that. I don't remember blanket sharing either. Just scolding about water bottles. My question to you is, what is your favorite memory from a previous Easy Livin' that wasn't caught on camera? Something in the kitchen or bedroom or yard that cracked you up, but chat totally missed out on. This is a hard question to answer because I feel like off camera we were just
Asleep.
kind of tired or like trying to get food or something. So
Also,
it
we
wasn't-
share everything with chat anyway.
Right.
It was really funny. Hubert loves baseball so much that he took his PS4 upstairs and a little TV upstairs,
Oh yeah.
and he I think he even took the cable box actually because it was some like Time Warner thing, right? So
Yeah,
I
the
think he
bug-
took it.
on the
he
bunk
brought-
bed.
So he brought the cable box, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So he brought
Well,
the cable box and a TV just to watch the Dodgers.
I think he's accustomed to going to sleep to baseball also,
Yeah.
and so he like plays the baseball while he tries to sleep.
This was brought up a little while ago, but somebody else just brought up a great Huber moment. Zat Voon Doot also said, "Hey, remember that time Huber invented the polka? Hit me, baby, one more time."
Yes.
That was
Very,
Easy
very-
Livin'?
No, that wasn't Easy Living. It was
Oh,
the thing that
okay.
he brought up when we were
There's
talking about.
many great.
Oh, rhythm games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
My loneliness is killing me.
Yeah. Very good.
I remember the one with the banana stand was cool. I like just like the town. It was good. It's not a hilarious story, but it was just a cool like town to walk around in. What was that, Monterey Beach or something?
Balboa Island.
Balboa Island. That was so cool. It just like there were 2 banana stands and just like a weird little beach town that
Mhm.
clearly had been around for a while. Like people just went and vacation there for decades.
The main strip I was into, but otherwise I have no use for that island.
It's a pain in
no
the ass.
use
I was-
There's no use for it.
Kyle, I was going to second you. I was like, yeah, it was really cool just being there
Yeah.
and kind of enjoying the chill vibes. And then Blood comes in and he's like, I have no use for
I
that.
have no use for
I
that
just-
island.
like having,
What?
just having grown up near the beach and near
Sure.
like, island town, and like this thing is like just gotten rid of anything natural, and it's just all concrete and like boats and like it felt really weird to me.
Well, it's really small. That's why. And they just
There's, like-
packed it with houses.
There's like a sidewalk's worth of sand that people were like trying to play volleyball on. I'm like, okay.
Well, to be fair, the real beach wasn't that far from there either.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true Witcher 3 fan.
Our next question comes in from Caesar. He says, "Hello, allies. Music library time. Best scores. Game Boy Advance. Go!"
Whoa, he really just cut everything out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we know what's going
We
on.
know, yeah. We know when you say Caesar, it's like, okay, here we go.
So the Game Boy Advance is tricky because there's a lot of things that were like re-releases of Super Nintendo games. So you have like the Final Fantasies, like A Link to the Past. You've got the Mario remakes, and so like all that stuff gets included, right?
Metroid. Yeah.
Metroid,
played,
Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission.
Super good.
I just
Yeah.
played Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thumbs up for that. And probably the other Castlevania GBA games too. Probably have a pretty sick chunk.
Harmony.
Three is so freaking so much music.
Oh,
so crazy,
yeah.
so good.
Oh, yeah.
Chat,
Obviously,
YouTube chat is saying Golden Sun has got tier, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Is bad. Yeah, don't put Ruby and Sapphire on it for sure.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
You're right,
There's-
chat. That was a good call.
Castlevania Circle of the Moon and Harmony Dissonance.
Did we
Those
say the
probably-
Mega Man Zero games?
That's a
we
good pick. That's
we
cool.
can definitely say the name of Zero games.
Trying to find a good list of everything so I can like get some refreshers. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. having, like,
Fire
in my
Emblem.
mind. Yeah.
Like, I remember more of those re-releases, Ben, than like original new games
Yeah.
on GBA. It's the
It
hard
is
part.
very muddled for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zero Mission came out on Game Boy Advance.
Did Chain of Memories actually have good music? The OG one,
I
Brad?
can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Like, Mario Kart has straight up bad music on GBA, right?
Super Circuit?
Yeah.
You know, Kyle, I don't really like Super Circuit. I
Yeah.
played it. I played a good amount of it. Like it was definitely a game of my childhood. And yeah, I don't really like Super Circuit. Mario Kart DS, though, on the other hand.
Yeah, I never even got into Super Circuit. I totally passed on it or missed it or whatever.
You could get the title theme to the Konami racing game, the kart racing game, where they just say YY Racing.
Is that the one that has Pyramid Head, or is that on DS?
Ooh, I do not think Pyramid Head was in the one that I played.
Okay.
That mine had Cyborg Ninja in there.
Oh, nice. Gray Fox, baby.
Yeah. We're doing the worst of this one than any other console or
Yeah,
like,
like,
to date.
like not even games names are coming to mind for me too.
I mean, like, yeah, like the.
Kyle, it's one of those things where like there are a bunch of things that I think should be in there, but then when I think about it, I'm like, can I really recall any music off the top of my head? No,
Right.
and so then I feel hesitant saying it.
Yeah, like Mario and Luigi, like
Right.
great game. I don't remember
Yeah.
any songs at the moment.
Like F-Zero usually has good music, but I can't tell you what can't
I
remember
would-
the GBA
I
ones sound
wasn't
like.
a fan of the GBA F-Zeros. They're a little weird. First one was okay, and then they got worse.
Like even the Minish Cap, like there's a few good songs, but overall it's like not the best of the Zelda soundtracks.
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Anyone play that? That was
That has
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
I said that earlier. Yeah, that
Okay.
actually has pretty good music.
Mario Golf Advance Tour. Anyone remember? Camelot usually does good music.
I didn't play Mario Golf Advanced Tour.
I'm wondering if the Wario games have good music.
WarioWare?
Wario Lands. There was a few.
Oh,
on
Wario
Wario
Land,
actually does
like-
have some great fun songs in there.
It was just Wario Land 4 on GBA, right?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah. I feel like
one
GBA
with
had
the
such a
purple
short
card.
life.
Yeah, I think it's just the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's Wario Land 4.
GBA wasn't around so long.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the GBA. I'd love
Me
to go
too.
back and revisit a lot of these things.
Anyone played Drill Dozer? I was always curious about that game.
Mhm.
Never played
I
it.
have Drill Dozer.
Those
I
are like
think
Mr.
I
Driller.
played a little bit of it, but not a ton.
Wow, there's
Uh,
a Nukem port.
For real, there's a bunch of GBA games on the Wii U eShop that I like totally didn't realize popped up, in like 2013 or something. Or like they popped up kind of late in 2012. Or sorry, no, I mean later than that even. That like it's kind of a cool console to play GBA games on.
Sure, yeah.
Recommend it.
This year I've played a couple of DS games on the Wii U, and that has been all right.
What are you playing?
I was playing Mario Hoops 3-on-3, and I was playing just a very tiny bit of Spirit Tracks, Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
Dude, I almost got Spirit Tracks. Is it pretty good on the Wii U?
Yeah, I still don't really like controlling it with the stylus, but I don't think that's like a Wii U problem. I think it's just like how you control that game problem. But the way that I was playing Spirit Tracks specifically was just on the Wii U gamepad itself. You can do like you can tilt it sideways, so you have the top screen on the top half of the screen, the bottom screen on the bottom half, and like that seemed super fun.
It's pretty sick.
So, yeah, haven't played all the Spirit Tracks, just the very beginning, but it seemed all right.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty deep into this GBA list, and there's just not a lot of stuff that's sticking out to me. And there are definitely a lot more ports or like tie-in games, like stuff that you wouldn't expect to like have had a GBA version, like Max Payne and like.
Our next question. Sorry, we didn't do so well in the GBA one, Caesar. Our next question comes in from Asbo. He says, "Good afternoon, allies. You may remember me from last month when I sent you all on a week's vacation to Breath of the Wild on the condition that you let me know where you'd be going and what you'd be doing. Sorry for the apparent confusion in my initial question. The idea was for me to choose various game worlds to send you so I can milk this premise for at least a few months' worth of Q&As. This month, you're all going to go to Gaia, as depicted in Final Fantasy VII, and whichever spinoffs you choose to acknowledge. Please note, you'll be arriving at Gold Saucer, so that location is already covered."
What?
What is it? Come on.
Be the whole time.
What's it, Del Sol?
Costa
Del Sol.
Yeah, we're all going there.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
I think Coastal Soul is a good pick. Cosmo Canyon.
Cosmo Canyon's 10 out of 10.
place. We're gonna go snowboarding at Ice Glen.
Yeah, dude. That's a great pick, Damiani.
Go. What was the like? I don't know how much this do in like Wutai.
Wutai Village. That'd be sick.
Yeah, they turned it because they turned
just
the whole
Japan.
joke was they turned it, or the premise was they turned it into a tourist trap, and then Yuffie's father was like, "Oh, we'll undo this."
After the war, man.
What's kind of frustrating is like I love Midgar and I love the aesthetic of Midgar. That would be a terrible place to live.
Yeah.
Feel trapped.
Yeah.
Yo, the Chocobo farm. We're gonna go ride some
dude.
Chocobos.
Yeah.
If we can't get if we covered Gold Saucer, fine.
I think Aerith's house would be pretty chill.
Oh, in that section of the
Yeah.
Gold, Midgar.
Yeah.
This up real quick. Junon could be sick.
Just to see a giant cannon sticking out of the city.
Calm's pretty sick too. Real nice fairy tale vibe.
Yeah.
What's the town of Seashells?
That's the ancient.
Oh, yeah. The City of the Ancients. Yeah.
You want to go there, Cal?
I would definitely visit the City of the Ancients to see some
Absolutely, dude.
seashell houses.
It's a good one.
I don't know. We just named like
Yeah,
20.
go to
Yeah,
go to
we named
I feel like you named almost everything.
It's a fun trip. We're having a fun vacation.
Yeah, we're going. We're having a good time.
I wonder if our answers will change in the remake as well. That'd be like a fun question to revisit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We're
Like
all gonna hang out at
Midgard.
Walmart
We're gonna see way
town.
more of the city.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is going to be very, we're not going to see everything. But
Ask this question again in 2025 when we get part 2.
Yeah.
Seventh Heaven should be brought up.
The
I feel
bar?
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all Midgard, baby.
I'm going to butcher this name. I'm sorry. Shubhankar asks, "Hi, allies. Short and simple. What are the top 3 of each of your personal desire indexes for the remainder of 2019?
Ooh. Link's Awakening, Death Stranding,
Mhm.
and probably maybe Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's a good list.
Well, Death Stranding would be at the top. Death Stranding, Luigi's Mansion, Link's Awakening, probably. Yeah.
Iceborne would be on there too, maybe instead of Luigi's Mansion for me.
Yeah, this is a hard question. I think Astral Chain is definitely in the top 3. Iceborne, undoubtedly, and Doom Eternal. I think I'd have to give the last spot to Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Oh, Control
Yeah.
for me. Probably for me it'd be Control, Iceborne, Death Stranding.
Let's see. Doom, Death Stranding, and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Death Stranding is such a weird game for me because like I'm super interested in it. I'm gonna play it immediately, but like I don't think I can get hyped for it until I play it.
Yeah.
And I almost don't want to. Like I just kind of want to come at that game not knowing what to expect.
I'm like not hyped, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
For me, it's Death Stranding, and then not even a number 2, and then Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay.
It's like Death Stranding takes up slots 1 and 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely Outer Worlds and Death Stranding. I don't know for sure about a third that I'm like super hyped for.
But good. I'm actually really pumped on Outer Worlds for some reason.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It'll
good
be a
pick.
good game.
I'm skeptical, but I hope it's good.
Is that September? Is that a September game?
It's
October.
October.
Oh boy. Okay. Little late.
Yeah, end of October too, 25th.
Okay.
It's gonna get decimated by Luigi's Mansion. Lol.
Did anyone else not say there? I think we got all of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Richard G. Flowers asks, "Boo, allies! Hope you're all feeling spooky. As it's time for round 2 of the Survival Horror Design Lab. So far, we have a game which is similar to the Evil Within 2 in overall design, features a tormentor nemesis figure, a corpse destroying mechanic, a set of psychological effects like in Eternal Darkness. We put in all the good stuff. Look at us. And we did this in an escort mission where you're carrying a small annoying child which will alert enemies. I don't remember that.
That was
I
mine.
remember that.
Sounds like a Kyle.
Yeah.
Now it is time for NPCs. This mostly abandoned coastal town has some weirdos in it. I will give each ally a first name and a basic identity. You must come up with the reason they give the protagonist for being in the town when they first meet. Feel free to skip absent allies.
All right.
So Damiani is Johnson, an old lighthouse keeper.
I'm sorry. So
Why is Johnson the old lighthouse keeper in this town?
because he secretly murdered his wife, and he's living there because everyone's gonna leave him alone and stuff, but he still wants to kill again.
So that's what he tells the main character right when you meet him?
Yeah.
No, we're just doing motivations.
Oh,
No, the question is
Oh.
what excuse do they give the character when you meet them?
I thought it was their,
Oh, do you have to do
background.
both?
That's what Ben said.
So
Wait,
Okay.
what?
I will
Got it,
give
got it,
each
got it.
ally a first name and a basic identity. You must come up with the reason they give the protagonist for being in town when they first meet.
Got it. Okay.
But I
Being
would
in
love
town.
it if the old lighthouse keeper like you click
Yeah.
X to talk to him and he's like, I murdered my wife and want to kill again.
And then he
And
shuts the door.
and
Yeah.
everyone assumes that like I'm just crazy. They're crazy and stuff, and they're just like
It's
It's
weird
like-
because it's like
ignore him.
the reason for being in town for the old lighthouse keeper, everything is, well, he lives there.
He keeps the lighthouse.
He's probably
Yeah,
already
no, but
always lived
that's what
there.
he would say. Yeah, he goes,
Yeah.
keep the lights on, for
not
those
like
lost
a-
souls
like a
who are
tourist
trying to come
coming
back.
through.
Without
From
me,
sea.
more boats would crash into the rocks and mysteriously
Let me tell you
kill
about
my
that.
wife.
Old hurricane in '92 that came through here.
Kyle, you are
Yeah.
an apathetic Boy Scout named Jimmy.
It's not
What do-
me.
No, this is the character that he gave you.
Okay.
Played by
I'm
Kyle
not
Boss.
saying it's you personally.
Sorry.
What? Okay.
Apathetic Boy Scout?
Yeah.
Richard gave you Jimmy, an apathetic Boy Scout. What reason do you give the protagonist for being there?
He got lost in a big camp out 2 years ago. Can't find his way out. His compass just cannot decide like where to go.
It always points back to the old library.
Yeah.
I love that he's like apathetic about it though.
Yeah.
Like he's just lost.
Resigned to his fate.
Years because he doesn't care.
Ian, you are a middle-aged power plant CEO named Clara.
She was sent to this town to try to get the contract for power for this town. But then ironically, while she was there, that's when the power went out. And then she couldn't get out of the town. Yeah. Like all power, like her car and everything, like everything stopped working.
Whoa.
Yeah. But she's there trying to get this town to be on their grid.
I got Bill, an elusive stranger who says they've also just arrived. And I'm just going to copy Silent Hill 2, where like I remind the protagonist of themselves, but they don't know why. And like when I meet them, I kind of like tell them about things that I shouldn't know about, and that really freaks them out. I'm like a manifestation of their guilt.
I was going to say, yeah, them from the future or something. That's good. That's good.
Blood, you're Jenny, a bookworm high schooler.
I came to this town because they have really good ribs. The secret I don't know yet is that
That is the
they're
closest
human
to
ribs.
an actual game. That is like an actual
Wonderful.
horror game.
So
I hear
this
they
is
have good ribs here. You know, just creepy music.
this is a Suda 51 game.
Man, it's so good, Blood.
Good ribs.
Brad, you are Matt the bartender.
Matt the bartender? Matt's from New York City, moved on over here to start a new life, had a run in, now working at this bar. But every time he's at the bar, there's always one person that comes in who looks the same but with a different name every time.
Ooh.
Brad, in my head, like I know we're in some abandoned coastal town, but like you said, you tried to get away from New York City, and like for some reason your character just is in New York City, but they don't realize it.
Yeah,
Just like,
could be.
"Hey,
Yeah.
and he's just like freaking out his patrons.
No.
The interior of the bar is in New York City, but when you
Mhm.
leave, it's this town.
That was a fun RP question. I'm gonna read the other allies. I don't think we should answer for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. We can. He said to skip over them if they're not here. But he gave Huber a struggling mechanic named Lenny. Go ahead.
Never mind.
Shotgun.
Yeah. Wanted to get a good shotgun.
And he gave Jones Charlotte a policewoman.
Same as Blood. She came for the ribs.
Yeah. Came for
We
the
just
chicken
changed all of our
tenders.
answers to the ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This
think a
town
lot
is-
of people, they always end with, and I heard they have good ribs. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. But the ribs is people. Everyone knows the ribs are people, and they're like fine with it because they taste so good.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle asks, "Hey allies, this Q&A is taking place on my birthday, so I figured I'd
Happy
ask."
birthday.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Oh,
Birthday.
kind of hope you're not here watching this.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
So I figured I'd ask a birthday related question. Best cake and ice cream combo.
Cake and ice
Cake and ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ice
that's the
cream
best
cake.
combo.
Yeah, for real, like birthday cake is to me just a type of cake.
Mm.
If it's anything but that, if it's just like, well, this cake is like cinnamon rosemary, I'm like, stop it. Just make a cake.
I would totally go for tres leches.
What is
ice
that?
cream,
It's like this.
I'd probably go with the plain vanilla with that.
The two answers for me are Dairy Queen ice cream cake because it has that cookie crumble stuff in it. That's crazy. But also Bahamian rum cake with a little bit of ice cream next to it. Like, oh man, and you put actual rum on it. Heavens to Betsy. That's good stuff.
I think ice cream cake might be my answer as well.
DQ ice cream cake is god tier.
Yeah,
man.
if it doesn't have to have ice cream, cheesecake gets my pick. But
Cheesecake's good.
I don't like pretty much any other cake in general. I don't like.
I am not a big cake guy either. Yeah,
I don't like sponge cake. Yeah, like any kind of
What
Pie
does
is
brownies
better.
count as?
For my just cake, coffee flavored ice cream I think might be good.
Nice, good pick.
Good pick.
What do brownies count? Does brownies count as cakes?
No.
Take one. I mean, they're not cakes.
No,
Brownies
Okay.
is brownies, baby.
just a type of
Okay.
yeah. It's a baked good, but it's not cake.
I'll just take a regular cake and regular ice cream then, please.
Okay, vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm gonna take you to the Bahamas and we're gonna get some rum cake.
I'm not going to the Bahamas.
Bermuda.
I'm not gonna long pause.
I was like,
Go to the Bahamas.
there's a story there.
Not going. Never again.
Never again.
I'm not going to the Bahamas.
I'm the lighthouse guy now.
Our next question comes in from Robert. He says, I love Mysterious Monsters. Think you guys have done an amazing job putting the show together. Biggest highlight for me were the jolly vibes between AJ, Ben, and Matthew Walden. I would hope one day we could get a team up of contestants between members of other media outlets like Kinda Funny, Funhouse, or GameSpot. Who would you guys love to see as contestants on the show? Pie in the Sky or Achievable?
I mean, like, one of the episodes I had lined up that I hopefully can line up again was going to be real good. It had no allies in it, but I think people would forgive us for that. But Corey Barlog is a dream to get on there. I mean, the Kind of Funny guys, just the Kind of Funny people would be really good. The Funhouse people, like Against Themselves, would be really good. What's Good Games?
Andrea's moving down, yeah.
Yeah, Andrea's. I'm gonna try to get her on there for sure.
Dude, I think Suda 51 would be
my God.
on that
That'd be
show.
Miyazaki. It would be dope.
Yeah, we have translators.
Yeah, translator.
Anthony Carboni, I know him. Maybe I could get him.
I have one I would really like, and it's 3 dads. And so you go on Craigslist and you get 3 fathers who must have mustaches. And so Huber's like, and on our show today, 3 dads. And they don't know each other, and they're just really competitive about winning this stupid game.
Yeah.
It sounds like an SNL sketch. is what it sounds like.
It's like,
Three
wait,
dads.
which one's the trickster? You know what I mean? Just like, what does the potion do? You know, like I just like, I really want there to be a 3 dads episode.
I feel like
damn it.
Kyle, that would open, and like one of the dads would say, I can only answer if it's about the Atari. And then like that sets the tone for the show.
So football questions?
There's so many like GT alumni that I like would love to have on that show. Like I want Rich Brown, Ryan Stevens, Justin Spear, Miguel Lopez. Like all would be great.
True.
Has Luke Arnold been on there yet?
Oh yeah. No, he's
Not yet, but I want him to be on there. We just have to
Nice.
time it out right.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, like Pie in the Sky. If we're going like Pie in the Sky, like
Go for it.
give me like
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino, Jeff Goldblum, and
Jeff Goldblum. I don't think there's a better answer than Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I really don't. Oh, maybe David Lynch. Maybe David
Lynch would be top tier, dude.
I'm just imagining Jeff Goldblum putting on one of those like cowls or vests or something.
Yeah.
They're being real into it.
Oh.
I was watching a Conan interview with him like very, very, very recently, and he is just the weirdest dude in the best way, Jeff Goldblum. Like, everything about his mannerisms and the way he talks.
I'd love to get Natasha Lyonne on there.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Mhm.
Oh god damn, Keanu Reeves would be perfect.
Julianne Moore. Yeah, just like I don't know, everybody.
And
Judi
everybody and
Dench,
everybody.
dude. I want Judi Dench on here. She's just like befuddled the whole time.
Why don't you get Adam Sandler?
Keith Richards.
Oh Lord.
I feel like Adam Sandler would have a potential of destroying something on set.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kevin James.
What we need to get is Andy Dick, just like a disaster episode.
Yeah, Andy Dick, Tom Green.
Red flags only, like just terrible things waiting to happen.
Eric Andre.
Yeah. Oh, Eric Andre would be hilarious.
We should get one that's just all game show hosts. You get Pat Sajak,
Alex Trebek, and what's his name?
Drew Carey.
No. Old Nickelodeon guy, Mark Summers.
Mark Summers.
He was the one, or wait, was he Legends of the Hidden Temple, or was he the one that like clearly hated kids?
He was Double Dare.
Yeah. We need.
I think Kate McKinnon would be really good on the show.
Oh, she'd be amazing. Yeah, what I've learned is like the crazier the guests, the more fun the episode. So, yeah, you want like a loose cannon in there. You want someone who's just going to hit the button for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next question comes in from the boss 313. He says, "Greetings, gentlemen. I just recently listened to your spoiler mode for Sekiro, and I also watched your previous Isle of Greats, so you probably know where I'm going with this. My Shenru brethren, my condolences, made a bold statement claiming that Sekiro had the all caps best combat possibly ever.
Mhm.
That's cool and all, but speaking specifically about combat, we know in terms of story, FromSoft is great, whatever. The conversation always went to a comparison between Sekiro and another FromSoft game. So do you guys feel games such as Neo and Ninja Gaiden would stack up to Sekiro or any other FromSoft game if you want to take it there? P.S. Ben, you were supposed to grill Huber about this. Jokes aside, we need to throw down in Tekken 7 or any of the Street Fighter games someday. Much love all the way from Detroit."
I played through a lot of Neo recently, and I think the combat's okay in it. I'm not super impressed with it. It's fine, though. Ninja Gaiden's been a long time since I've played that.
See, playing the Neo 2 Alpha, I actually think that the combat in Neo is like the best part about that game in a lot of ways. But what was disappointing in Neo 1, I think that here's what I think is really good in Neo. I think the stances are a really good idea and they're implemented well and they all have different uses and it's fun trying different stances out with different weapons. Also, the key recovery is really interesting and feels really good when you get good at it. What hurt Neo 1 for me, the negative to that is just I don't think the enemy design always was there to push you to always make the combat fun. Like it definitely got repetitive as the game went on. And so, yeah, because you kind of need both things, right? Like you can have great mechanics, but if you don't have great enemies or interesting levels, like it's not going to be as good.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that Neo didn't have that in some capacity. It did. But with Ninja Gaiden, it's hard. It's hard because like you're upgrading weapons and you're like, you have like potions and stuff. But to me, it's like just a completely different game. I guess like the whole pace
Different
of
type
it.
of game? Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
the whole pace of it is just
The
so
flow's
different.
different, yeah.
And so I think the reason why we compare it to other From Software games is they just feel a little bit more related.
Mhm.
Because like we can do the same thing when it comes to Game of the Year awards. Like sometimes when things are so different, it's hard to say like this has the best combat. I don't know.
But what was fun about Huber's argument was he said, "This has the best argument. Prove me wrong," and
Right.
you like can't.
Combat.
Yeah.
I think that Sekiro has obviously like really, really good combat for Sekiro.
Mhm.
I feel like what prevents it from being like best combat of all time for me is that it's tied so much to visceral attacks. You like have to do it.
That there's no other way to kill a person other
Like
than
there's no other way
yeah.
to kill a boss or like a mid boss or like, you know, and to me that like it seems like to me that's like a mechanic for this game that's really cool, but it prevents it from being like greatest of all time because it's like you have to do a thing, and I prefer like options and creativity.
Yeah,
I'm with you there for sure.
You know,
I don't know if I agree with that because like I feel like I would run into bosses where I did have a choice where it was either like, play really hit and runny and really defensively and just slowly whittle down their health to where eventually you got that visceral attack, or just choose to get really good at the defensive options and make that go down faster. And so I do feel like there were options within that. And I like the different fights, even though that mechanic was universal, different fights still felt dramatically different. Like,
oh, absolutely. What I just mean is like you always have to have that finisher.
Yeah.
Like you could like before I fully understood that, like when Brad and I played it in a demo, before I understood what the hell was going on, like I was fighting the monk boss and I got her health all the way down, and then I was just like, she's not dying, and it's like, oh, because you have to do the visceral, and it's like, obviously that's the part of this game, and I like it in that game, but it's just like, it's sometimes fun to like poison a boss.
You can wear their health all the way down, then you get the visceral free. Yeah, you don't have to like break their meter to do it.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. It's a really good combat system because there's one sword and one kill mechanic.
Yeah, it's all focused usually on like one specific area.
Yeah, and like that's why it's so flawless, is because it is one sword and one kill mechanic. And like, I wonder if you could have as tight a mechanic fighting system in a game like Bloodborne or Lord Dark Souls, where you have like dozens of weapons. It's just way harder. So I mean, that's why it seems like the best combat ever, because it's like one sword and one kill mechanic.
Yeah, man, I don't know if I could like come away with a definitive answer for best combat, because like Ninja Gaiden, what I think about Ninja Gaiden is just the speed and the intensity of it, and like how fast you need to react to enemies, and like how on top of dodging that you have to be. Like, you can't really play defensively or turtle like you can in something like Sekiro, where I think you can definitely get away with that. Like, Ninja Gaiden just like gets in your face so aggressively, and I love that. And I think about something like Devil May Cry, where what you want to do a lot of times is have enough mastery of your weapons where you can just do the longest attacks possible, where it really encourages variety, where it's like, don't rely on one thing. You're going to be less effective if you rely on one thing. Do as many different things as possible as you can within a single fight, and you'll do better, and you'll keep enemies up in the air longer, and so on and so forth. So like, those are just different philosophies.
Right. That's a good word for it. Like, because for me, like the From Software game where it's like you push a button and this one thing happens is always going to be my preferred combat system over like combo based, like keep the meter running kind of combo combat, like in Devil May Cry or like some Platinum games and stuff. Like, that's just not what I like, So like, it's not like a fair question because it's subjective at a certain point, where it's like the stylish combat of Devil May Cry 5 is super awesome if you like that. I don't, So it's like, what can you do? So yeah, it's hard to definitively say a best for sure.
Yeah, I guess maybe a point in something like Devil May Cry 5's favor as opposed to Sekiro, but I think you could argue this the other way as well, is I like in Devil May Cry 5 how different Nero feels from V, who feels very different from Dante, and like there are definitely similarities you can make between them for sure, and it's still kind of using the same frame in a lot of ways, but switching between them and mixing it up is very, very cool. Where, like you said, Ian, in Sekiro, it's like you have to get good at this one thing, and that focus really helps the game. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Kyle, I feel like you're good at swinging the hammer down. What do you think best combat wise?
Sekiro. Huber was right.
Well, there it is.
I would argue Bloodborne is better than Sekiro combat.
I enjoy playing Bloodborne. Like, I don't think I'd enjoy playing Sekiro.
I beat them both, and I wanted to keep playing Bloodborne, and I did not want to keep playing Sekiro.
Yeah,
I beat them both, and I played them both repeatedly after.
Yeah, Ben, I'm of the opinion that you could make a case that any game has the best combat if you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, it's just one of those things, Kyle, where like I really enjoy From Software style games. And I really enjoy action games, and like I just want them both to continue. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I just want them both
Right.
to do different things. Like I don't want them to be this homogenous thing because I don't feel like, oh, I love this so much that like I don't need the other things anymore. I don't feel that way.
I mean, that's a really good point. Like, I almost don't like it when games try to do the From Software style. You know, if they like, it's a hard thing to get feeling right. You know, like Mario feels the way Mario feels, and it's just right. You know, and like From Software games feel just right most of the time, and like games who try it and miss that mark. There are some that try it and hit it in their own way, but like, man, when you play one that just doesn't hit the mark, it hurts, you know? So yeah, I don't want homogenized. I don't want people to all try to do the same thing either, for sure.
Yeah, bouncing off that, Ian, I think of like Lords of the Fallen,
Right.
where it's just like it's trying to be Souls in just like such a boring way where like I just didn't feel the motivation to continue playing it.
Right.
It's not like it was terrible or that I didn't have any fun with it, but yeah, I would rather different people come up with their own philosophies for things.
Well, and then the same company, right, did the Surge.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed the Surge. Like I
haven't
thought
played
that
the Surge.
it had its own, what's that?
I haven't played the Surge.
Oh yeah, and Surge 2 is coming out, and like,
Yeah.
so it's nice that they tried again, but they like went in their own way more for the Surge, and I thought it was way more successful for that.
Yeah. Surge 2 is interesting. 'Cause I don't know. I didn't play the first one, but I don't know if it has the target the body parts thing with the combat.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, yeah, I didn't seen anything like that. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how Code Vein lands once that's out. Having played it, like I don't know, man. I don't know about Code Vein.
Lack of weight.
I am bearish on Code Vein.
Okay, our next question comes in from DRD 7 of 14. Remembering to ask questions is difficult. What's the biggest question you wish you had asked an interviewer? If you haven't interviewed someone before, what's the question you've always wanted to ask?
Is this something an interview we actually did, or maybe something we haven't had the chance to interview someone?
There's two separate questions here. The first is, what's the biggest question you wish you had asked an interviewer? And if you haven't interviewed someone before,
Yeah.
what's the question
Okay.
you've always wanted to ask?
Interviewee,
I don't know why I didn't see the second part of that. No, anyway, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, interviewee. You're right. He said interviewer.
Yeah, interviewee is what I guess that's what threw me off. Sorry. For one I've done, Junichi Masuda. I was lucky enough to interview him once, and one of the Pokemon series directors and now producer. I got to ask him about Mew in the original Pokemon. A question about that, but I didn't get the chance to ask him because he specifically would be the person responsible for Lavender Towns. He did the music for the original Pokemon Gen 1. So he would actually know like what was up with the redo of that. And I kind of like forgot to ask him about that. And afterwards, like never had a chance to interview him again since. And it's like, crap, that kind of stinks. And I've never ever interviewed either Miyamoto or AJ Inuma. AJ Inuma more is probably the one I want to most have an interview with. I've never had a chance to.
What are you gonna ask him?
Bunch of like philosophy stuff on Zelda.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's even harder now. Like it used to be, tough but doable. But nowadays it seems like almost impossible to get a hold of those guys.
I've probably interviewed the most people at Easy Allies, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of people. I can't answer the question, biggest thing you wish you had asked an interviewer. It's hard to remember what I even asked during those interviews.
Yeah, I know.
Just because you get like so specifically prepared for what they're trying to work on and try to like cater it around them. I can answer the question though, like what's the question you've always wanted to ask? Just what comes to mind is like, of course, I really want to interview Kamiya. We've heard that, but I think the thing that I would be most afraid to talk to him about, but would be the most curious about, is like what sort of emotional impact did it have on you that Scalebound got canceled. Like, this is a dream game that you've had in the back of your mind forever. Just like, what sort of impact did that have on your morale? What did that have on the team's morale? And like, how have you moved forward? Like that, I would love to just get like a really nice heart to heart about that.
Yeah.
I had sort of the opposite of this question is like, I met David Hayter for a hot minute. Like just at like, it was really random. It was like, I was at my friend's like film screening and then we went to a bar and then he was just there and I was like, oh, and I was talking to him. I'm like, oh, hey man. Yeah, that's cool. And I was just like, this is before MGS5 came out, but we knew that he wasn't in it. And I just said like, what happened? and he was just like, I really don't know, man. I guess he just wanted to go in a different way. Like, and he seemed like kind of hurt by it.
Yeah.
It was a very like honest reaction. He honestly didn't know, and he was like surprised and confused about it. Like he did not get an explanation, and I was just like, wow, okay.
It makes me really happy that he's like Zangetsu in.
Yeah.
And I hope he can continue working with those guys.
Part of me feels like it was like because of that in a certain like they were like
for sure it is. It's another anti-Konami move for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Man, Bloodstained, I love it.
Yeah, I think it works. I think it's good.
You're really getting back into it now?
Yeah, I bounced off it at first, and then I talked to Ben and Brad, and they like gave me some pointers, and like, boy almighty, did they give me some pointers, and now I'm just like destroying this game.
True Arrow,
dude. What the hell?
Real busted as hell.
I'm just now hitting bosses that are like pose any threat at all.
It's like a shotgun blast to the face. Like you'll get to an enemy, just bust out that true arrow, and just like watch them just pop and die. It's
especially
so good.
With Welcome Company. It's just like I am just literally just melting you.
Yeah. Well, after Brad was talking about Welcome Company, I was like, I'm gonna just not use this. Yeah. Once I got it,
I was not using it for a while, but then I hit a boss that was really giving me trouble, and I was like, all right, let's try both. And I was like, oh.
But yeah, I mean, talking about games that you just want to keep playing, like I have no problem farming stuff in Bloodstained because like this is fun. Let's see what this stupid shard does. Yeah,
gets real tedious end game.
I can't believe that like I did as many of the cooking things as I did. Like I remember like encountering that for the first time, being like, I don't want to do this, and then just like kind of got into that grind. I didn't do all of them, but I did a lot.
I did end up doing all of them,
and it was just really.
I wonder how many there are.
And it's like such a simple thing. There's really not much to it. But are we ready for our last question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Greg asks, when listening to music, do you mostly listen by album or a playlist? I personally still listen by album, even as everything has moved to streaming services.
Me too.
Usually an album.
Album for sure.
Yep.
I wonder if that's like I honestly wonder if that's an age thing, because like my girlfriend listens only to like songs and never a full album. And I was like, oh, this other one is really good. And she's like, what's that on? And I'm like, it's 2 songs after the one you love. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I've gotten really bad about that. I've in like the last couple of years, I've developed into more of a song listener, and I used to be very into listening to whole albums. And once you've
done the album, then I'm like, I make a playlist with the ones I like, and then I'll listen to playlists that way. But like, I'll always listen to an album like, when it's new or whatever.
Yeah, always.
When iPods were kind of like first blowing up, I was really into playlists and would make them regularly. But I feel like since the age of Spotify and like Apple Music and whatever, like I'll still do the curated Apple Music playlist pretty often, but I don't go out of my way to make my own because I feel like it's so easy to get to whatever song or album you want that like I don't even need to go through the effort of making a playlist.
Right. Now, I'm very much an album person, and it really annoys me when services like Apple will like take something like the Persona 5 soundtrack and like somehow get it wrong and like split a couple of songs off into like some separate thing because there's a different composer name or something attached to them. And I'm like, okay, now I've got to like make my own playlist to reassemble the freaking album.
Man, Blood, I know music has been increasingly coming to those types of services, but I still, if I want to listen to game music, I still mostly rely on YouTube for that.
Oh, yeah, I'd never do that. Always pretty much CDs or
I never
or
that.
download.
Worth rewinding. There's an eyebrow raise when he says, "I never do that." I never do that. Yeah.
I'm still gonna do it. It's not gonna change.
My sister and I make playlists for each other a lot, like on Google. We use Google Unlimited Music, whatever, Music Unlimited.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We'll make each other playlists all the time.
Sharing music with others is like the best, man.
Also the worst.
Also the worst. Yeah.
It's just like, man, I didn't really like it. It's like, okay. All right.
Kyle, I don't think that bothers me so much as like the people who don't really listen to your suggestion and then just like recommend over top of that. You're like, oh, hey, I really like this thing. Like, check it out. Like, if they don't like it, whatever. But like the people who are like, okay, fine, but listen to this.
Oh, like, yeah, like mine's better.
Right. Yeah. Where, like, it doesn't
contest.
Yeah, it's weird. That attitude I don't like.
I will say though that like the unique life position that we're in where like people who know us from our online personality or whatever, like seeing snippets of us, then like extrapolate the kind of music we must like from that. And like people who've sent in albums like directed toward me or whatever, like some of them they get pretty right, and then some of them I'm like fascinated. I'm like, oh, okay, like that's the kind of music you think I like. That's interesting. Like, you know, it's not bad. I'm just like, oh, hey, that's funny. I don't listen to that, but you know, it's interesting.
This is my impression of the music Ian likes. Boom, 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 I, boom, 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 I. That's like what I would. That is what I would recommend for you.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Yeah.
Kyle, now I kind of want you to do that for everybody.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. Uh-huh.
You know what better way? Go ahead.
I was in Ian's car and it was like, oh, this is the new Santa Gold album. And it's like, Santa Gold made a new album? It's like, yeah, you know, like.
Dude, Kyle, that happens to me, man, where like you really love somebody and then they don't do anything forever and then you don't know that they release a new thing.
And then Ian knew.
Ian knew.
Like I really like the band The Distillers, and like apparently they came out with new music recently and I didn't know, and then I heard it. It was great. But
I love that though when that happens.
Yeah,
like,
it's
what?
For sure, it's the best.
Google Music has a new releases thing that I check every week or two, and it like caters it sort of to like the other stuff you listen to. So like, if I miss a news article or something, that's how I find out about stuff a lot of the time. It
can be kind of bad though, because like Weezer is a good example where it's always like, am I gonna hate this? I don't know. Like there's a good chance. So yeah.
I'll just click on random stuff that I've never heard of in that new releases, and things get like, sometimes they get like 2 seconds and I'm like, nope.
Yeah. I truly think you can know a song in 2 seconds sometimes. Yeah.
Or certainly like if there's a guitar, what effect is on the guitar, you know, like the entire genre of that band from like one note. You're like, okay, this is a punk band, not into it. But then if it's like if something starts out with a synth, I'm like, okay,
let's give it 5 seconds. Yeah.
Let's give it 5 or 10 until the singing comes in and is annoying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that is gonna do it for us in today's Q&A. Thank you to everybody who wrote in questions. Sorry if we didn't get to yours, and thank you to the allies for joining me for this month.
How many were left?
Back next month. There's doubles. So we don't have a ton, no.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
I'm always curious how well we do at getting through all of them each month.
Yeah, we could probably do this. Do you wanna make maybe rapid fire?
Bonus time, baby. Let's
sure.
Yeah.
If there's only a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Default option. You're given free reign over a single company and get to make a single change with the only limit being that the company's power and it can't be reversed. What? You're given free reign over a single game company and get to make a single change with the only limit being that that company's power, and it can't be reversed. Maybe make Ubisoft games less bloated, make Activision's invest in new IP, Sony buy Insomniac, EA remove loot boxes from everything, ideas.
Okay, so we're not allowed to like go ridiculous. It's something above that company's power level, I guess.
Yeah.
It has
Okay.
to be something they could realistically do.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Blizzard makes WoW 2.
Great.
I'm trying to. My joke answer was they shut down the company, but I was trying to think of a good company that would be funny and not mean, but I just couldn't think of one.
Bethesda.
Yeah, Bethesda. They shut down the company.
Bethesda's my new favorite punching bag. I freaking
Yeah,
love it, man.
it's great.
Konami makes video games.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
you
that's
better buy that
really
Contra
cool.
game. They're making video games.
They're making cash grabs. They're not
Handed
making
it off
video
to
games.
someone else, and no.
Okay, go. Next question.
Okay. James asks, please rank these games from best to worst. If you haven't played any, that is perfectly fine. Mega Man 3, Uncharted 3, Street Fighter 3, Gran Turismo 3, and Final Fantasy 3.
One more time?
Mega Man 3, Uncharted 3, Street Fighter 3, Gran Turismo 3, and Final Fantasy 3.
This is crazy. I think Uncharted 3 might be last of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Mega Man 3 and Street Fighter 3 are both high for me.
Let's say Mega Man 3 is very high for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
Mega Man 3, Street Fighter 3, Final Fantasy 3, Gran Turismo 3, Uncharted 3.
I want to put Street Fighter 3 first.
I'm
Do
way
it.
cool with that.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
I definitely think Uncharted 3 is probably better than Final Fantasy 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still want it
Yes.
beneath Gran Turismo 3, though.
Yeah, I mean, Gran Turismo 3, like, I haven't played it, but it's got a great reputation. That's, like,
Yeah.
legendary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo
Yeah.
3 is super, super fun. Or my
That
memories
works,
of
man.
Gran Turismo 3 are super fun. So wait, we have Street Fighter 3, Mega Man 3, Gran Turismo 3, Uncharted 3, Final Fantasy 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's good.
Sure. Yep.
Alan says, where would you like to see Easy Allies in 1 to 3 years?
Oh boy, for a lightning round question. Profitable,
Yeah. Alive.
bigger, alive, profitable, not making people mad.
Not making people mad. I'll go with that.
I want to make people mad.
Well, but in a profitable way.
Yeah, in a profitable way. Yeah.
Making
Yeah.
people mad like in a fun, jokey way, not an actual way.
It's weird because like I think kind of our personality and our vibe really promotes a pretty insular audience. But I would love to see us find a consistent way to expand as well.
Mhm.
In a way that makes sense for us and grow and get fresh blood fans in
Yeah.
here more frequently.
Yeah, we
Uh,
need to achieve escape velocity.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
that.
like what I would really like is for people to feel like comfortable talking about Easy Allies without having to introduce them in a way
Yeah.
that just like, in some completely irrelevant, like just a YouTube comment section of a trailer, just like, oh, I bet Ben Moore would like this. And then there are 4 responses where they say, yes, I think he would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Also like I want publishers to stop thinking of us as influencers. So that they actually send us like games early and stuff.
Or we get games early.
Those are separate things. But
What do you mean? Those are separate things. Influencers get games early?
No, I mean, well, that too. But I mean,
I'm just saying like
Nintendo
press-
doesn't see us as influencers, but they don't send us many games
Right.
early.
we need our press credentials back
Yeah.
to the
Sony
extent that we used to have them.
Sony sends us games early, but
We have to do the
some
disclaimer.
department that's not even connected to the people we talk to thinks of us as influencers, but none of the people that we talk to do. So it's just, yeah, there's not like the only people that really think of us as influencers are like cold callers that, you know, they like send stuff to the address that's on YouTube, the YouTube page.
Please advertise this thing, but don't say it's an advertisement article.
Those people, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I would love just like bigger opportunities like Damiani's talking about interviewing
Mhm.
Eiji Aonuma and that sort of thing. Like just things that we could do with developers more specifically. And like it's hard not to think like that just has to do with our size and them going like, well, if we do this with Easy Allies, it's only gonna reach this number of people. Is that worth it? Probably not.
Yeah.
So it would be nice where we were in a
also-
place where we afforded those opportunities a little bit.
It's also this weird odd size plus market, I guess I should say.
Sure.
Because it's a weird thing because it's like we have the reach we do because we're a YouTube channel. And it's like if we were just a press outlet, we would look really impressive. But because we're a YouTube channel, we're then compared to influencers who have way more views than any press outlets. So it's this weird Venn diagram of what the problem, quote unquote, is.
Oh, also Mysterious Monsters and Box Peak on Netflix.
Nice. Our very last question comes in from Corey. Netflix is looking to make a show about Easy Allies. What Netflix studio would you pick for it? Animated, live action, and who would play / voice work your character?
Oh,
I'm always terrible
so
with these
as
questions.
us?
Yeah, I guess.
Are there various Netflix studios?
Not really. They sort of. It doesn't exactly work that way.
It should be animated. I think that's clear.
Yeah,
for-
just the people that made Castlevania, just make our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know
Like,
us.
super
Yeah,
serious and bloody and like. but
Yeah.
also funny.
yeah, they get it
Yeah.
right.
I love that. That's perfect.
It's like maybe like a 10-episode series, and we're all dead by the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Claire Danes voices all of us.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would obviously be played by Dave Bautista, just because
Mhm.
our physical nature looks so similar. So.
Yeah. I confuse you two all the time. Like
I do too.
sometimes I'm at the office and I'm like, Dave? Oh no.
Yeah, I go
Oh, it's
to the grocery store and people say, "Drax, what's up?" And it really freaks me out, man.
Next cue.
That's
That's
it.
it.
We're done.
Oh,
We're done.
okay.
Yay, we did it.
Nice. We
Yeah,
done
there's only
did
8 more minutes there. That's good.
Whee!
I have to go to the bathroom so bad.
Me too.
So yeah, once that whole spiel again, we will see you guys next month for another Q&A. We do a post where we say when you can submit things, just to get everybody on the same page, and then we do the actual submissions post, and we'll do the Q&A on a Saturday toward the end of the month. Thank you to all the allies, and thank you to everybody who wrote in. We got to all your questions. Woo! See you next month.